Hi everyone, welcome back to Chop's Garage, the real life car trading channel. There's loads going on, so let's get cracking and update you. First up, if you watched the last video, video before last, we had the Honda CR-V over there in the background that we bought as a trade-in that had the shudder from the gearbox, we think from the gearbox at about 30-40 mile an hour. I told you that my research showed that that's a common problem with the Hondas. I booked it in with Honda. They said that they hadn't really heard of it, but they'll book it in anyway for the transmission oil change and for a relearn on the gearbox. Well, look what I found online, everyone. I did put this up as a post, but a lot of people don't see posts. Here is a Honda service bulletin from May 25th, 2017. Vibration while driving under light acceleration. Says it affects the 2012 to 2013 CR-V. Ours is 2014. Ours is 2013. It says a surge of vibration or a judder may be felt while driving under light acceleration. To minimise the possibility of judder to occur, so to minimise it, not to get rid of it, to minimise it, a software update for the transmission is available at the customer's request. Additionally, the transmission fluid will be replaced. So it says, corrective action, update the ATF software and replace the ATF fluid. There you go. Proof, as I said, that they really do all do that, sir. So I'm going to print that off. I'm going to take that down to Honda. Fingers crossed that resolves, well, improves it. As you can see here, the way the wording is very careful. It's an improvement, not a fix by the sound of it. As some of you said in the comments, oh, what about changing the transmission? As I said in that video, even Honda don't change the transmission. There's no point doing it because they all do it. So stick a box in, it'll be doing the same thing. You need to have the software updated and you need to replace the ATF fluid. So it looks like replacing the ATF fluid on that model of Honda CR-V is really, really important, and you need to be doing it very regularly. So many of these, they say they're sealed for life now, don't they? But it's a load of old rubbish. Anyway, what else we've got going on? We sold a car. Let's go and show you that. Little Picanto's had a polish and a wax. That's ready for them to pick up on Saturday. They're picking that up. Tyre shine, it's obviously had its MOT and its service. Little bit of a drama. I parked it outside, came to it the following day and saw there was oil on the floor. Got underneath, had a look at it, said to the Moores boys, guys, it's leaking. And turned, they're stars as normal. They're always happy to put their hands up if they made a mistake. Came, picked it up, took it away, put a new sump plug washer on it. Someone had installed the wrong type of washer. That solved that straight away. So that is being picked up and out the door. We have just got another little cheap in. Let's have a quick look at that when the rains slow down a bit. Yeah, I forgot actually, I picked up two cars. Sorry, it's pouring with rain, so I'm not going to hang around too long. Just picked up this 2012 Peugeot, it's a 308, isn't it, this? 1.2. It's just had its MOT. The only advisory that was left on it was one for a exhaust hanger. And I have driven it around the block a little bit, and I think I can hear a knock from a drop link. So I'm going to get it down to my boys and get that checked out. There's some paint up here which isn't brilliant. Someone's had a go at rattle canning themselves and didn't watch the Chops tutorial. But I have got the paint in the car to do that, so I might just do that bit there. But other than that, it's really clean actually. Obviously they put some aftermarket wheel trims on at some point. There was a new clutch put in it very recently, and the old clutch was left with the car to prove the point because it was done by the chap who had it before as a mechanic, does stuff at home on his own. So he's had a new clutch, but he doesn't have any history with it. So he assures us that the work was done, but you must keep if you're going to do that work yourself, keep the receipts. Keep the receipts for the car. But it's going to be a cheap car anyway. Like I say, the MOT only had one thing left on it. Paintwork's super clean. Headlights could do with a buff as well, so buff up the headlights, do that bit of paint on the back. It's got nearly new tyres all the way around as well. Inside's clean and tidy. I'll be wet cleaning the bases of the seats just to take it up a level, but there's no damage to any of the fabrics, only it's plastics. All looks good. Where's my keys? I've got some keys for it, which is always a bonus, isn't it? There they are. Oh, get out of the rain. Got electric front windows, electric mirrors, which I've tested. They're working. We got, I think it was 100, bang on. It says 11,000 miles to the next service. I think that means 11,000, doesn't it? And oil okay. So I think, I don't know if you've been resetting the service meters or whatever. People know Peugeots, comment down below. We'd probably do an oil and filter change on it anyway. So it adds up quickly, doesn't it? Oil and filter change, do a bit of paint on the back of it, do the headlights. I guess those two things are just time, really. Just gone over 100,000 miles, 145. Shame, isn't it? It's not 99,999, because people think as soon as the car hits 100,000 from that point, bosh, it's dead. We've got a little CD radio on it. It's all super clean. All the plastics are really clean. It certainly doesn't look 100,000 miles wear-wise. Starts on the button. Settles down to a nice idle. Like I say, I've driven it around the block a little bit. I say there might be something on the suspension that needs doing, but other than, again, that'll add up. I did pay good money for it, to be fair. It wasn't cheap, but it's pretty much retail ready. They've even valeted it. So quick oil and filter change, get it down, just double check that knock on the suspension for the MOT, do that exhaust hanger, do that little bit of paint on the back, which is free because the paint's there, so it's just my time on that front. And it's one of the cars I don't mind making a little bit less margin on it. It'll be a cheap car as well. I think something around the 2695, something like that, on a 2012. So it'll be a cheap end car as well. Should be good for that kind of market. You know, at the moment I'm trying to stockpile up this kind of stuff and then do it all to get it all ready in one go. So yeah, that one will be added to the small car list. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to keep hold of at the moment, small cars. We'll get round to getting rid of all the more expensive stuff in a bit next month, and then get back to getting filled up with some small cars. So yeah, it seems like a decent little motor. Obviously a bit more road testing needed. This wasn't on one of my main dealers. This is just another contact I've got that puts me in touch with cars when he gets his hands on them. Another one I bought from a dealer up country. I bought it from the trade site. A VW Caddy. Why are you still flashing? Oh, you've gone off. VW Caddy. I thought, you know, North Devon, if you haven't got a VW Caddy, you're almost sort of thrown out the county, aren't you? You've got to have a little VW van of some kind, or a transporter, or a caddy. This one I saw came up on a trade site on Facebook, which, as I've said to you before, is a lethal group. You end up buying stuff. It was a good deal on the car, but then I didn't quite realise how much the transport was. I'd already committed to buying the car, and if I commit to it, I do it. So off Adrian went. Bless Adrian. Big massive shout out to NK Van Service and Adrian, because I've sent him all over the country this week picking up subscribers' cars and cars from all over the place. So yeah, this came up on the trade site, 2007. It's got quite low mileage for one of these. These tend to, at this point on a 2007, be, you know, nearly 200,000 miles. This one has got 80,000 miles on it. It's actually a clean little van. It's only got minor dings. There's around the rest of the body, there's just one big ding, which is the sill down here has been crunched, which I had on the other caddy van I had, which is strange. I think what I'll try and do is buy a sill for that, and now I've got my little lift, get it up and weld in a section of sill along there. We would obviously have to seam weld that, grind it back and paint it all up, and then probably stone chip all the way across the length there to tidy it up. Either that, or I get a dent kit and pullers and pull it out, but I think I'd rather put a new piece of metal in there. But yeah, once that's done, I think there's a little bit down the bottom of the door over this side that needs a little bit of a paint. Obviously the wheels need a refurb, or pick up some alloys. People tend to like alloys on these because they don't tend to be work vans now. They end up being micro campers or little surf vans for people to bomb back and forth to Woolacombe in. Where's my keys? Here. Again, another no history car, unfortunately. Only one previous owner. The service book is here, but it's completely empty, which is really weird. I don't like buying cars with no service history. Obviously it's not ideal. This is the SDI, which I don't think has the turbo, does it, guys? I think the SDI is the normally aspirated, which I know isn't as peppy as a turbo, but for me it's just one less thing to go wrong. One less thing to go wrong. And if you're in a hurry, don't drive a van. Yeah, so we've got some other paperwork there to go through. Hopefully, I've got some friends at VW, haven't I, who watch the channel. Any of you guys that watch the channel, if you can dig out any history for PK07LFF, I'd be much appreciated, because it may well be there is something kicking around somewhere. Again, inside this car, for a van, it's really clean. Bases could do with a wet clean again, but the plastics are all, I mean, all this is mint, isn't it? And really, it's not a heavily used work van. The other one I had needed a really good clean. I think maybe there was a smoker. I might need to clean the headliner there, get rid of some of the tar. But the plastics, they're all really, really good. Starting up, obviously diesel. Starting up is the big thing. Is that service light on there? So it may well need a service. What am I waiting on? Nothing, just turn the key. Starts up nicely, no hesitation, no lumpiness. It's been sat here for probably 12 hours, something like that. A bit longer than that maybe. Started up there, 89,881 miles, so the mileage isn't outrageous. So like I say, tart up of the wheels and some alloys maybe. Get that seal done and get down for a new MOT, because it does need a new MOT. These are worth good money down our way. This van is probably worth nearly £4,000 down our way. I think, if I remember rightly, about 3,995, something like that. And like I say, it's got much lower mileage than the majority of them have around here. And they do tend to like the short wheelbase ones. You'd think they'd like the long wheelbase ones, but as a general rule, they tend to like the short wheelbase ones. So yeah, and it's already got a roof rack on it. Either that, or I'll end up using it myself over the summer to cart the kayaks and the paddle boards around. It's always useful to have a little van about the place, isn't it? So I'll make that decision later on. So yeah, a couple of cheap little buys there. Hopefully they work out, because I say the margin isn't massive on that one, but the work's kind of been done for me. That one, obviously, I'm going to end up ploughing quite a bit more money into it. The margin could get very tight depending on how well it goes MOT wise. I really need to do the repairs myself to try and keep the money down on that side of things. But before anybody starts fretting about me welding stuff up, before Chop's Garage, before the channel, trust me, I've done my fair share of sills and so forth, because I was restoring MGBs. So I do know a thing or two about replacing sills and welding stuff up. But I think I might treat myself to a gasless, get rid of the but I think I might treat myself to a gas MIG before I start that, because at the moment I've still only got my cheap gasless MIG. A bit of bad news on the Tiguan I sold the other day. Turns out it needs an EGR cooler, which I think they said was something like a 6-hour job. Is that right? 5 or 6 hour job to change the oil cooler. I've heard they're a cow to do. Put my claim into warranty wise for it, because I put the extra emission covers on to cover the EGR, DPF and all the sensors. Always do that on a diesel cars, thinking I'm safe. They come back and said, no, the EGR cooler isn't covered. The EGR valve is, the EGR cooler isn't. Now my argument I've gone back to him is that on those cars, the EGR valve and the EGR cooler come as one. So I know they're saying they don't cover the EGR cooler, but you can't replace one without the other anyway. As I understand it, they come one as a unit. So I've gone back and argued a toss. Fingers crossed that goes in my favour. If it doesn't, like many of you said, I am seriously considering whether I should be paying for third-party warranties, because I've just paid for the fuel pipe to be done on the Nissan. Did I tell you the Nissan X-Trail I sold 3 or 4 months ago? There was a Nissan X-Trail. That went in, that got a fuel leak on a fuel pipe, and it's just been repaired by the guys down at Car Care Centre down in Barnstable, because they're closer than for the customer. That claim was rejected because it's a fuel pipe. Obviously, I'm not covered for the warranty on the RAV4 that's got a fuel pipe leak, because you know I'm probably going to end up doing that for that lady as well. And what was the other claim I had in? Can't think now what the other one was. But yeah, I'm going to do the maths of it. I like the idea of having a third-party warranty with the breakdown cover, so people can get work done wherever they are, so their vehicles can get recovered easily. But doing the maths on it, even if I ended up paying a premium for a garage that I don't normally work with, I think I'd be saving money. Comment down below, what do you think as consumers? Do you think you'd rather have the confidence of having a warranty in front of you with a known name that can be used at any VAT garage, or just a warranty from me, and then you have to go off and make your own arrangements? I'd be interested to know down below. But I certainly think I'd make quite a saving. But it isn't just about the saving, it's about convenience as well. I'm a one-man band. I want to keep things as simple as possible. But on that Tiguan, if I do end up footing the costs of that after having put the cam belt on it, that's a bust. That's a break even, which I guess, or a very, very small profit. There's still a few months left to run on that car as well. So again, it's just telling the realities of being a car dealer. A lot of people think because dealers put warranties on cars with third parties, that means they're totally covered. I guess it is if you're the kind of dealer who's just going to go, well, the warranty company says that's fair wear and tear for that age of vehicle, we're not going to replace it. If you're just the kind of dealer who goes, well, that is what it is, that's one thing. But obviously for me, the car's only been out for, what are we saying, 6 weeks, something like that, maybe even less than that. I'm obviously going to get it fixed. There's no arguments about it, is there? Remember, the warranties aren't your legal side of things. The warranties are the things the dealers put on over and above the Consumer Rights Act. The Consumer Rights Act is already in place. The warranty is something the dealer puts in place. The warranties for me are like an insurance policy. Like when someone claims, if I can get warranty-wise to pay out for it, ideal. If I can't, then it comes out of my pocket. It's more of an insurance policy for me, but also, like I say, I think it's a bit more convenient for customers knowing they can take their car in anywhere with the warranty-wise policy, and it has the breakdown cover, which means they're going to get their recovery costs covered as well, or they're going to get picked up by their approved pickup company, whoever that is. So we've got the boys from Milton Garage Equipment here today, fitting my scissor lift. All you guys whinging that I don't do anything, we're about to change all of that by getting serious with the lift. It's looking lovely and shiny. I don't know how long that's going to last.
Go back out, that's a bit fast there. So if I take that down now, the lowering valve, we're going to slow down. So then with a car on, it'll be perfect.
Oh, you can change that, can you, on the
Yes.
controls?
Yeah, I'll show you this. This is a lowering valve.
This is why I use these boys rather than just get a company that dumped it on the doorstep and left me to set it up myself, because they know what they're talking about.
The end of the mobile kit then, you'll put it on the end when you put it back to the floor, because this rotates.
Right.
It moves, so you don't want to dig it in the floor. And then you put the in, and then to move it, pull it back, and move it.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a pain to turn.
It's quite easy.
I figured once I had it in place, it would be forwards and backwards only, really.
If you can unplug it a second for me. Yeah, you come with me a second. Yeah, please. What we'll do, we'll come up here a second. We'll come around here.
Oh, nice. It's way more mobile than I thought it was going to be fair.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Back as far as you can, because the car's coming on. Yeah, lovely.
There's my little control box.
And you can just lift it. Go on. Yeah, oh. Yeah, go back there.
Obviously, accidentally leaving those wheels on would be a bad move.
Yeah.
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 So what we're going to test it, we're going to be brave and put a 911 on it, are we?
Yeah.
Right, okay then, let's do that then. I have chickened out, guys. I'm letting the professionals do the first one. I'm interested in this because obviously it's low, and jacking points are going to be hard to access, aren't they? Looking at it now, I'm thinking we might have a bit more this way. Bit of momentum, yeah? What the boys did tell me, you need a bit of momentum to get up onto. There we go.
Okay, right hand down a little bit. Yeah.
I think I'm going to put some tape lines on the floor to line up. When I'm on my own, I'll be able to line up better, won't I? It's painful to watch. Oosh! You got millimetres under that, haven't you? No, you're right, actually. Well, we're going for it now. We're lifting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fast.
Yeah.
Cool. Look at that, guys. I'm not going to say that I'm brave enough to be putting a 911 on it all the time. On my own. I think we'll stick with the cheaper stuff. Possibly. And of course there's nothing really to see here because the 911's got under trays all on it. But that is the wobble test. It's solid on there, isn't it? It's not. We can get a look at the business end. I'm going to look under here, have we? This could have done me, guys, because if this was dripping oil, I'd never be able to sell this car ever again. It's dry as a bone under here, isn't it?
And this is the locking system here. So you can leave it at any point.
Yeah.
Here. And what it'll always do, it'll always drop it down into the next lock.
Right, okay.
So you can leave it situated as high as possible, and then it just goes down into the lock.
What if we lower it now, it'll go down into the lock?
No, because what it'll do, it'll lift the bars up.
Right.
Come down.
Right, oh, I see. It just glides over the top of them there.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, service is easy because the oil filter's right there. I wouldn't have been able to do that on the ground. Nice one, guys. Well, one thing we know is if the 911 is going to get on there, being that low to the ground, we're not going to have a problem getting anything else on, are we? Unfortunately, my battery ran out. The boys had to shoot. They were Milton Garage Equipment. I'll put a link down below. Not sponsored content. Billy at GSF sorted lift out for me. I looked around all over the place. I did actually inquire with a number of companies on the lifts. None of them got back to me in good time frames. None of them responded to emails. So I got on a blow to my old mate Billy at GSF. So thanks, Billy. He sorted me out a discount. Not a massive one, but a bit of a discount on it. Obviously, there isn't a huge margin. It's a very competitive market with these. It turns out I totally lucked out. With the other companies I looked at, they were actually a bit more expensive, and they would just deliver the unit. I had to get my own hydraulic fluid, and then I'd have just been given a handbook on how to set it up and all this kind of stuff. Having those lads come along from from who was it again? Having those lads come along from Milton Garage Equipment, they just knew their stuff inside out. Just fine-tuning it, like I say, for the speed up and down. All these tips they gave me. They forklift it off the truck, brought it in, set it all up as you saw. So absolutely brilliant. I lucked out there. You know, it's all about service, isn't it? And that was a cracking experience for me. So yeah, highly recommended. It might be a bit much for you for your home garage, but they do a number of different ones. The Milton guys were saying they do a number of different lifts. If you are playing around a lot with motors, it seems it would be a good investment. I know 2K isn't a small amount of money, but I imagine it'll last a lifetime. And I guess if you look at the hourly labour rate at the moment, £50 to £100 an hour labour, and you decide to do some work yourself that you wouldn't have done otherwise, perhaps that's a way of recouping the money. Certainly, maybe that's a way of justifying it to the other half. Perhaps maybe that's a way of justifying it to the other half anyway. Righty-ho, let's get on to the next job with it then, which is to get the little VW up on it and get all the wheels off. Well, I wasn't able to get all the wheels off of the VW up because I have lost the wheel nut by the looks of it, or I'd never had it in the first place. It's different to the one that's in the car. Hopped on eBay, ordered that. Hopefully that'll be here tomorrow so I can get all the wheels off down to Lee down at Barham and get the machine in done on those. Then get it down for the paint on the bonnet, then get it MOT, and then finally get it up for sale. In the meantime, I've pulled the Acadian van out, still fighting getting this UK registered. So the chap that I paid to do it, coming on a year ago now, has come back to me now after things getting a little bit touchy, me saying I'm going to have to send you out a letter before action because you've done nothing, and him telling me that I was wasting his time by emailing him. Apparently if you take money from people and you do nothing for 12 months or don't give them any feedback for 12 months, it's outrageous for them to get in contact with you. Go figure. Anyway, he says that he needs photographs of the car all the way around, close-up photographs of the bulkhead and the VIN, which I could have done from day one, of course. But get this, he also says that Citroen want a rubbing of the VIN plate. I can't think I've done a rubbing of anything since I was at school, and junior school, so a long, long time ago. I don't know whether I'm having my chain pulled or not here. I don't know if if it's just a way of making me run around the houses for entertainment factor, or whether it's genuine or not. I don't know. Comment down below. Has anybody ever been asked for a rubbing of a VIN plate to get it registered in the UK? But I'll do it because then there's no excuse for it not to go ahead. So I photographed it all, and we'll get the VIN plate rubbed. I've got to try and find something to rub it with, a crayon or something, haven't I? And we'll get that sent over, and then hopefully we can finally get this registered. And I guess I could, like I said before, I could actually probably just take the number plates off it, go down for an MOT because I do it off the VIN plate. That'll get an MOT on it. I can stick trade plates in the window and hoon around it for fun every now and then, but not really the done thing. I want to get it. The value of it goes up obviously greatly as well as soon as it's UK registered, so I've got to try and crack on and do it. And at some point I'll finish off getting this clear lacquer put on all over it. Well, as always, plans haven't gone to plan. The Peugeot's already sold. So, like I say, I was trying to save up on my small cars, wasn't I? Because in April I wanted a big lineup of small cars. The Kia Picanto's now gone, and a friend of mine, really badly needed a car, and the Peugeot's gone already. So, I guess it was a small margin. What's the expression? Small margin, quick return. Is that one old Henry Cole says? I didn't make huge money on it, but I didn't touch it. It's just gone straight out the door. But I did kind of really want to save up, so that plan's not going according to plan. A little bit more of an update. Some stuff's happened in between. I've had a call from Warranty-wise, and they have said it makes sense that the oil cooler, the EGR cooler, and the EGR are all in one. Although it's not technically covered via the policy, they are going to give me basically just short of £500 towards the work. Now, the cooler is costing me £180, and I think the labour is 6 hours. It's going to cost me £300. So I'm going to brace it. Basically, it's going to cover the cost. Customer's happy. She's really happy that when the warranty company said no, I still said yes anyway, because I already approved it being done. Because, like I said, the warranty is my insurance policy. It didn't pay off for me. It looked like it was going to pay off for me that time. That shouldn't affect the customer at all. She's absolutely within her rights to get the repair done. So she was chuffed that I said yes anyway. But now I'm going to be getting the money back from Warranty-wise. That was Ellie, my account manager. What I find with these guys is, and you've seen it on multiple videos, is, you know, yes, there's the black and white, but have a conversation, reason with them. A lot of the time you've seen them contribute towards things that aren't covered. So I think that has won it over for me. I'm going to stick to my game plan. I'm going to carry on doing their warranties, because overall I think I might make some savings by dropping it, but I think overall I'm doing all right, and I think it just makes life a little bit easier for everyone. So there's great news on that. Update on the RAV4. The RAV4 has been down to Moors with the fuel leak on it. I know everyone said I shouldn't get involved in it because, you know, the car went through an advisory for MOT. She drove it for months. It got checked immediately by Toyota after she bought it, and they said everything was good. But it's a fuel leak. It's a risky thing. She can't be driving around with a fuel leak in. Turns out the guys just needed to fit a new fuel pipe on it, so I haven't incurred a huge amount of cost on it. But she did... I can't help but laugh, guys. She gave a list of other stuff. Apparently the front indicator is loose in the wing, and she occasionally gets ABS light flashing up on it. The guys have said an ABS switch and a new indicator, because the little peg's broken on it, will fix that. And I've just said, look, for the cost, I think it was like 15 quid for an indicator and 20 quid for a switch, and they're going to charge me an hour max for fitting it all in. For the cost, I said, just do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it. And I've had a message from her now saying, James, can you be on the lookout for me? It just gets funnier. Can you be on the lookout for me for a newer car, please, so that I don't have less likely to have problems, and a petrol, not a diesel, because that's probably going to cause me less problems. Oh, dearie me. No, before anybody starts accusing me at all of selling the wrong car in the first place, and she should have had a petrol and should own you. This person came to me adamant she wanted a RAV4 diesel of that year. She'd had one before. I think the thing is she'd had it a long time ago when it was a much newer car. You can see the 911's in because it's had a bit of a clean, it's had a bit of a warm up. I need to go for a little bit of a blast to to make all this hassle worthwhile. I need to go and absolutely have a hoon in the 911. So I brought her over for today, and then she's going to go for a hoon. Always, yeah, huge thanks for everyone watching the channel, for all the comments you put down below. I try and get back to as many of you as can. It's really appreciated, and hope to see you in the next one soon.